Because I have you on mute right now. Can you hear me now, Ted?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. I always keep the volume off until we get close to, start, and just in case people on YouTube listen to us talk about and everything else. Good. We are now audio on.
How you feeling, Kenny?
I'm alive.
I was sick as hell yesterday. I feel for you if I do have this place.
Nasty bugs going around.
I was a whiny little bitch.
I'll bet you I can get confirmation of that too.
Woke up on the wrong side of the bed, first time ever that I know of. I was like, how did I get here? She's like, you wouldn't move.
They woke up literally on the wrong side.
Literally on the wrong side of the
That's
bed.
wild.
We post voices for tonight, much better.
Better work.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Just for $100,000 section.
You see, there's also hundreds of thousands of reimbursement in route.
For our project, right?
Yeah. Check is in the mail. The checks are in the mail. So I think I said email.
Yeah. They do. Usually not probably.
Oh, and it's all here.
Really?
I don't know what's that. I didn't see it. Oh, no shit.
What the hell?
That's ridiculous.
What is wrong with people?
Wow. That's dumb.
Gone. Oh, yeah. Fire.
How's it going?
Hmm.
Good, you
You got the crowd? Right there. He said, oh, just going around. Must be a food work.
Yeah, but anyway. Yeah.
Come I'm getting fancy over here. Yeah, kind of familiar with what's on the screen. Can you go to my view? I don't see why I can't. He's already blanket there. And that to me, please. What? One love that's handed to you. All right. Right. What is the first one? Wow.
No, I'm getting, I'm done. Good. Yeah, we have them on.
There.
So if I miss anything, make sure.
You got the field, BJ. Go ahead.
Okay, call order at 6 p.m. I stand for the pledge of allegiance. Of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Anybody have anything to add to the agenda? I have two things, I'll add to the end, just checking up on Jeff's CDL and, moldy boxes.
It's actually on the agenda already.
Oh, is it? Yeah, they were, which one?
At the end of treasurer's report in bold.
The boxes one?
Yeah.
Okay.
6:30.
You didn't read your phone. I skimmed it. Yeah. Yeah. That was good. Okay, review approved minutes for December 8th. So moved. Is there a second? Second. All approved? Aye.
Aye.
Pass. Okay. Fire department report and any action items.
Fire department report for December, the period of November 28th to December 25th. JFD responded to 13 calls. 7 of those occurred during the daytime, 6 during the nighttime. The average duration of those calls was 82 minutes. Those calls were 1 automatic alarm, 4 vehicle crashes, 2 CO alarms, 1 medical assist, 2 chimney fires, 1 mutual aid for a structure fire, and 2 agency assists. That was to the Royal Sheriff for debris in the road after a car crash, and traffic control for tree in a roadway during that windstorm. The average number of firefighters that responded was 11, and the total hours of service, or the total hours on the clock, was 170. And as miscellaneous, we participated in the Jubilee with a decorated fire truck. And I wanted to thank the firefighters that volunteered their time to prepare for that event. That is it.
Thank you. Budget presentation.
You want to follow along, we have it on screen too.
Okay, and I think also might have been circulated to you guys from Eric.
Oh, yeah, it's in the packet.
Okay.
They got it on Friday.
Ooh. All right, so for 2026, the way I have the spread, this is the spreadsheet that I use personally. It's not the same as Rosemary's, but all the titles and stuff are the same. So up at the top, we'll kind of circle back to that, but that basically is the income. The one thing that I'll sort of draw your attention to on the billable calls revenue, we actually brought that down this year to 1,275. I believe the only thing that has come in for 2025 was our efforts on the library. So we reduced that just to not have that be kind of a false hope or leave us as with a hole in the end at the end of the year. Expenses, where that first yellow highlight is. The first one is payroll. So for 2026, Vermont minimum wage is going to go up 41 cents. So the Vermont minimum wage will become $14.42. We are currently at $14.50 is the baseline pay for the firefighters. Historically, you guys have always tried to be above that by an increment of usually around 50 cents. So when we get done, I'd like to ask for a 50-cent per hour raise across the board effective January 1st. And I will suggest maybe that you do that as a separate motion, and then that just becomes in support of the budget. So last year, 2025, we had 150 hours on the clock. Not everybody makes everything, but to try to anticipate what 2026 might look like, if you take 75% of the time, that's 112 hours. Many of us are in that 75% category. Some have a little more. There are other firefighters that have a little less. That's a fairly decent little number to do a little bit of planning on. If you do 50 cents an hour times 110, 112 hours times the number of firefighters, you're looking at a $1,200 to $1,500 cost for that 50-cent raise. So we have proposed increasing the payroll by $2,000, so that 43,500. Social security match, that's just the formula, that goes up slightly, but that can all sort of be contained within that 2,000 and change increase. Insurance, Eric, I carried the same insurance numbers, that's historically what we always do. Is I know there might be a little bit of movement, but at this stage in the game, it's so early, I always just carry the number from the year prior. Going down through, there's some minor adjustments. I'm not really gonna hit all of them. A couple adds, a couple subtracts. We reduced our electricity costs to be a little bit more in line with our year-end stuff that the projections Rosemary had given us. The fuel and oil, that is actually the fuels for apparatus fuel, gas and oil type thing. We're hoping to have a little bit of savings this year in just the price at the pump, so that's why that one was reduced slightly. Vehicle maintenance, it's no secret, we had, a difficult year, but a lot of that was that unexpected breakdown with the EGR valve, the emission stuff that was in the international engine. If you take that out of the total cost of 2025, we were real close to being on budget. So overall, we increased a little bit there just to try to make sure we can keep the fleet kind of top notch. We're not aware of any repairs or anything that's kind of hidden that we're, not tending to. So I think it should be a fairly normal year. It's difficult, right? Repairs are a little bit hard, but so we bumped that up $450. That blue highlighted one, purchase current year, that's actually what is the contribution to your capital equipment, capital truck plan. So that in that plan, within that spreadsheet, it has the predetermined 3.3 3.75% and 3.75% growth. So that's 72,770. That's the number right out of the spreadsheet, untouched or not played with at all. And your second blue line down below that for your small tools capital, that is again the second of your capital savings plans for the small tools. That one has an anticipated contribution growth of 3%. So that's that 25,322 that you're seeing in front of you. Down the bottom line would be a budget of $206,500, basically 206,497. That represents a 2.5% growth, which I think is super modest and super fair. That's a value of $5,077 for growth. If you wanted to consider the $207,500 budget, your four parties that are on income, other than the billable calls income, you have four other parties, which are at the top of the sheet for the income side of the balance sheet. If you wanted all four entities, being the Village of Johnson, the Town of Johnson, the Town of Waterville, and the Town of Belvedere to contribute equally, that would be a 2.75% increase to all four of those. Historically, the guidance and instructions that you guys have asked us is to keep the village contribution essentially at no growth. So you are still in for an obligation, but you have asked us to not apply a growth factor to that. And if you want that to be the case, you would then have three parties paying. You'd have the Town of Johnson, the Town of Waterville, the Town of Belvedere, and in order to do that $206,500 budget, those three parties would be at 3.75% growth. The village would be at 0% change. So depending on where you want to go for questions and such, I'm hoping tonight that we could ask you to consider a 50-cent pay raise across the board effective January 1st, maybe as a single action item, and then consider the $206,500 fire department budget with your preference of how you want that funding to be.
What's the pay rate now?
It's 50 cents over
1442.
Well, so
firefighters, that's the state. Where if your firefighters right now, you're 50 cents over your minimum. and they wanna maintain being 50 cents over there.
The current rate right now for firefighters, BJ, is $14.50.
Okay, so,
Last year's,
Minimum wage.
state minimum wage at $14.01. 2026 went to $14.42 for a minimum wage.
so I'd motion a 50-cent pay increase for 2026 for all fire department staff.
To bring them to 1492.
Well,
Right,
officers are higher.
well, I'm,
Right. That's a base pay.
the better.
Question. So if your motion is to increase a 50-cent value on current,
That would put it to 15.
$14.50, we would be at 15.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
My motion was for 50-cent pay increase for 2026 for all fire department staff.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Abstain. You got that abstention from Will?
Okay, the next part is how we're gonna do the, what do you call it?
Pretty big, you know.
I think we stay with no increase for the village. That's my personal opinion. We didn't increase.
I'll make a motion, we approve the $206,497.83 budget with a 3.75% increase to town Johnson water bill and bill here.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion?
So what was the cents next? 206, 497, and then
87 cents.
87 cents for a year. You want to pay us?
83 cents?
83 cents.
83 cents, I'm sorry. Don't go by memory, sorry. But let's close. Close.
On your spreadsheet,
RJ may not sleep over.
on your spreadsheet, that 3.75%, those are the actual cost increases with that category just to the left of it.
Any discussions?
Yeah, that 3.75, that included the pay raise, RJ.
Yes, yep, so, the pay raise within the budget, was the line item of the $2,000, anticipating the $2,000 increase. So it is in that budget that you just made a motion on.
Any more? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously.
Ken, before we get off the subject, you wanna talk about the
Yep.
article?
Yeah, so I was having a conversation with RJ, trying to come up with ways to either put a line item in his budget for building improvements and repairs. We put aside 50,000 for the paint job. Not even sure if that's going to cover it all. So we got to start planning on this so that it's not just a hit on the village. I think we should ask the voters to allow the fire department to fund improvement, repair, reserve. So-
The building improvement capital reserve fund.
Yeah.
That was keeping his budget, right?
Yes.
Okay.
My reasoning is to keep it out of any other reaches for any of the other budget. Because we put it in the fire department budget, that goes into general fund, and if we run short, it's never gonna get funded like some of our other stuff.
Mhm.
So
Are we talking for this year or for next year, Ken?
we'd have to ask the voters to
Right.
approve the article.
Be for next
And
year.
I figured actually we would discuss this again when I was present so we could have a more in-depth discussion, but it was my conversation with RJ. And we, together with Eric and Rosemary, feel it's better and safer in an article as a reserve fund by its lone self than to do it in the line item budget of the fire department. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So we could put it in a line item by ourselves to call it reserve, but it's not truly reserved.
Right,
Until the
exactly.
voters say so.
Right, exactly.
There's no real fence around it otherwise.
So what I'm, with that, just to be, upfront and fair, so let the town water bill here know that if this goes through the incremental raises that we carried through even through COVID are gonna jump a little bit, because that will, this budget is bare bones, what it appears to be anyway. And, we start adding, capital repairs, fund, voters approve it. Any amount of money is gonna be a percentage increase of the current payers.
Correct. And that was my reasoning, Will, is because if we're serving other towns, they need to contribute in with keeping our building up to par so that we can continue serving it. You
I
know, it's,
understand, but I mean, at least letting the town and Waterville Belvedere know that if we implement this, you know, their 3 to 3.5, 3.75% increases next year are gonna be a bit higher.
so my question was going to be to you guys should we do it so that if they approve it, it starts from January 1st? Or are we going to include it in I know he's already got his budget and we approved it, so that's kind of beyond that point.
Right.
So I guess we're going to be
For the increase they got this year, at 3 3/4.
correct.
You know, adding on top of that this year is gonna be a bit of a crunch for everybody. If we give them a year advance notice that it's coming, and the reason for the increase above normal, I think they can accept that and, prepare for it, plan for it. I think that would be fair.
Yeah, and I'm not thinking of any large number, and I don't think RJ was either. I think thinking we need to slowly build it up. You know, it's.
But you've run the numbers here on this thing, how much, you know, very little increases amount to a large percentage. I know the numbers aren't big, the percentages are, and percentages are perception.
Yeah.
So if we at least let them know that the numbers are gonna go up no matter what we increase it to for the capital or repairs, percentage is gonna be out of the normal.
So I had one other question for RJ and them. Actually, I guess I don't know. Should we move on this to create an article, or do we want to talk about that when we're doing other articles?
Is that for me?
No,
I mean,
no, just for the board.
If you're talking about this, you probably should, have a motion on this so it can be, you know, it can be voted on.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we start an equipment, building maintenance capital reserve fund.
Maintenance and upgrade, Will. Maintenance and upgrade.
Building maintenance upgrade, fund
Capital reserve fund, yeah.
to be approved by the voters. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any
Well,
discussion?
Yeah, do we need to set a number, or are we gonna just talk about that and then come up with a number?
I don't think you need to set a number, do you? We'll do that later when we do the budgeting. Yeah.
Okay, so next year RJ would have a discussion with you and,
Line item in budget.
right, so next year, whoever the treasurer is and Eric and RJ would get together and have a conversation about how much they should include in his budget for this reserve.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way, because that allows us to get our contracts out to the towns that are asking right now, based on your previous budget motion. We can present this so it's wide open to the voters, give people some time to think about it. And then, the other thing that, you know, it's not always possible, but if we had a very slow year and you had some surplus, you now have the opportunity to visit that particular fund that was approved by your voters. But I don't
So
think.
you don't think when you go to talk to them, it'd be beneficial for them to say, hey, we're looking at so many dollars spread out over 3, but just to give them a heads up, and so it's not like, you know, what could we possibly get hit with?
Right, no, I think that we should, I think that should be my suggestion is that's another conversation here.
Yeah.
And we look at what that projection looks like, and then we make it known to them for preparations. Cause I mean, I don't know what that looks like right now, right? I mean, 1%, but that's a big number. And like Will said, you know, if we were going to somebody at 4 3/4, that's probably gonna be a little shocking. So I think we need to get our strategy together. And make sure the village voters are behind it, and then I think we can start to talk to our contracts.
Now you meet with the other town select boards, correct, RJ? For the
The
budget.
way, anytime they have requested, we go, the way we do it is there's a cover letter that goes with the contract that hits the highlights of what they're gonna be signing for 2026. And the offer to go to any one of their meetings is in the closing of that cover letter. So it's not on a regular basis. It's, if they request it, we go.
So then we could maybe include in the cover letter that the Board of Trustees is gonna be asking the voters for this fund. giving them a heads up.
We could do that, or we could send out after April,
Yeah,
we could send out just a note. Just a quick, just say,
Okay.
from RJ and me, just saying this is what happened and it's gonna mean this.
yeah, I think we still gotta get approval from the voters, so this is not a done deal until it's done, so I'd hate to be warning the towns ahead of time. And going, this could happen, and, a lot of things must happen until the voters approve it. Then Eric can send out a notice to the town with the water bill up here, Johnson, and say, hey, this has been approved. And this is the number, that'd be my suggestion, is not to overwhelm them.
Yep.
Right now, and then with a possibility, I'd like to be certain that this is right.
And I think the management of the fire department would be happy to attend those meetings, come spring, early summer, if there's a benefit there. But we gotta know what to deliver.
Thank you.
What year did we move back in 2006?
Into the fire was 2005, wasn't it? November of 05 or November of
I can't.
I think it was November of 05.
It was,
Sure, that's fine.
yeah, so it's getting up there in age.
So 20
Right.
20 years.
Right, we're looking at 20-year-old stuff.
Did we end up getting it painted? We did put so much like with paint last year, right?
I believe that's that 50,000 Kenny was referring to.
Yeah, that's for the paint job and rot repair on the outside. But as I was saying, I don't think we're gonna be able to cover it with that. You know what I mean? So it's
We gotta start somewhere.
correct. That's why I brought this up. I was explaining to RJ, I'm thinking proactive than reactive.
Yeah.
That's all.
We tried to build it maintenance free, but obviously
No such thing.
there's no such thing.
Call a question, BJ.
Okay, good. Now everybody vote.
Aye.
Aye. This is on, yes. Yeah, right. Okay. Where we were for a second.
Okay, and I had one more question for RJ. I was just curious if there's any other delays or issues with the truck we ordered.
Well, I'll be honest with you, the hardest thing we've had right now is our communication with Allegiance. They are less than favorable to deal with. The message that we have right now, which Craig is the point of contact for that. He has been hounding them about every couple of weeks. The word that we had was the cabin chassis, which is the contract the village signed to purchase. We're hoping will be built in March or April. April timeframe. So if that comes off production at International and gets drop shipped to Ocala, Florida for E1, we're looking at trying to be on the build schedule with E1 for late April and May. And that really hinges around cabin chassis making its way to Florida. If that all lines up, there's a possibility of having our truck fall of this year, maybe as early as September, early part of October.
Awesome. Thank you.
A lot of it's hinging around that cabin chassis that we're seem to not have very good information on. But we're bird dogging them best we can.
So.
Yeah, I weren't questioning that. We just hadn't heard anything in a while.
What's that, Kenny?
So they weren't questioning whether they were looking into it. I was just hadn't heard anything, so I was just looking for an update.
I would probably suggest that next time we, remember I've been seeing, get away from maybe looking at a different dealer than Allegiance. Because this seems to be the trend for a lot of trucks.
It's too bad.
That the town and village is dealing with, so I would suggest that,
I know.
I would suggest that maybe looking at something different there.
Yeah, agreed. I've been involved in 5 or 6 of them now, and typically what we've been doing is purchasing the whole package through the bodybuilder. So they are the ones that acquired the cabin chassis. As we're coming out of COVID and with the potential emissions changes and all that, our best strategy was for the village to be the vendor to purchase cabin chassis place our order. That got us ahead of any potential standards changes.
Yeah.
So that is why this one is a little bit different than, I don't want to say different. That process is just a little bit out of the mainstream that we've been using. So, one method of trying to get away from allegiance might be to package everything with a builder another time, and then we don't have to negotiate a component of the truck.
Now, did we have a delivery date when we did the contract and when that cab chassis was supposed to be here?
We don't have anything in writing, Darrell. I don't
Yeah.
believe, we had an expectation from the previous salesman that we had dealt with several times before. They cleaned house down there. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no different faces, different contacts. The contract is in place. We know that E1 has got their build drawings done because, I'm sorry, we know that International has their build drawings done because E1 had requested that to match up the cab and chassis with some of the body stuff. And 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, E1 received the International stuff, so we know that it's at least in their process, there's movement. I just don't know, I can't get straight answers on it.
Probably just the next one, I think it'd be better off, I mean, my opinion, but I think we look at the dealer, let's get the package deal. Get it out, maybe they might have a little extra pull. I think
Originally, originally, they were, when we first started this whole process, they were talking about a three-year build cycle.
Yeah.
And if we get it this fall, it's gonna be 2 year, so we're actually a year ahead of what they originally had planned.
True, like how about it, the not getting the answers you need and
No, I
stuff,
agree.
kind
It's
of,
very frustrating.
and if we can eliminate the frustrations.
The savings of it done it this way, it's what for a little bit.
Right, $75,000 to $100,000 we save by doing it this way.
Yeah.
We'll see.
But, yeah, I agree.
Well, maybe, if that's the case, maybe looking at the other truck dealers that there is around versus, looking at Western Stars or something else.
Yeah, so when we entered into this, Darrell, we did inquire about a Western Star where we do have a Freightliner, Craig, we're familiar with Charlie Boys as a local option, as a local dealer. Western Star doesn't have an emergency responder package, so some of the NFPA requirements to have certain controls and certain stuff on the actual cab and chassis, Western Star doesn't have one of those, an emergency responder package. So with us looking to sort of, we had some really, really tight budget parameters. Being able to buy something off the shelf that was already engineered and in production was important to us.
Yeah.
I'd love a Western Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
we'll,
Maybe
We'll
next
cross
time
that
around,
bridge.
you never know.
No,
yeah, who knows? I mean, hopefully Allegiance was gonna be the best. They're turning out not to be as comfortable as we were hoping for,
Yeah.
so. But we're not seeing anything actually stalled. They don't communicate well with us.
Thank you.
RJ, I'd also, on behalf of the board, like to congratulate all the new assistant chiefs and officers. You're all well deserved of everything you do. We appreciate you guys.
Yeah, thank you. It's a very good team. There's a lot of experience. There's a lot of up and coming momentum there. So we are in a very good spot. Thank you.
Okay, and we just gave out 4 pins in our last meeting, which total 105 years of service. Wow.
Great. Anything else, guys?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, treasurer's report.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Have a good night.
You do.
Good night, guys.
Hopefully you get a full night's sleep, nothing happens.
Been a fairly long day.
And again, the budget status reports. This is probably 90% complete with the orders that you saw here, be closer to 99% complete. And we will contact Waterville again about their late payment for the fire service.
Waterville?
Yeah.
Good. Then we have 300% of the general departments for sidewalks. That's wrong category thing.
Some sidewalks got completed on School Street. October. Budgeted for
By us or by,
the village.
we did it or we contracted it out though. So it's a significant number for budget.
We should pull that from sidewalk reserve.
That
Well,
would
we
be
can,
fine. Yeah. So there was a reserve on my understanding, right? So, okay.
More than that.
Yeah, it's 300, 400% of the budget, that's quite good. In the future, our guys are gonna do those little repairs, right?
That one wasn't little.
That wasn't.
It was a big, that was a good length.
Some of that was at, the Du Bois and King doing the sidewalk study. We're down here.
Oh, that was out of it, no.
That's off on the call.
Do we have a capital budget on the old building?
But don't.
You know, the new building? Do we have a budget on that?
Which building?
Budget,
Which building you speaking of?
the old building? I was thinking we did, okay.
Well, we'll build, which one?
You know, electric department building.
Oh, the garage. Oh,
I thought a long time ago when started on the family.
No, just normal building maintenance, line item.
Just building maintenance. I know, pretty cool.
Yeah.
That should go away, you know.
No, it's building maintenance for all village, so.
Yeah, anything we budget is for the garage. That's the general department. It's not the water and lights garage. We
Right.
call it that, but it's the general department.
Well, until the enterprise funds pay rent. Yeah,
How bad was all that sidewalk that we had to get into that kind of number?
it was actually horrible. This
I
is
mean-
School Street. Yeah, it was I'll give you, I'll talk to you about it after we.
did we approve it, but we must have approved it before it got done, because I can't imagine we'd say, yeah, let's go over budget by 300%.
Ken knows what's going on. We can talk about it after.
Okay.
All right. So,
Rosemary, have we checked into the high yield accounts for our bank accounts?
I haven't had a chance to do that yet, but I will.
Okay, thank you.
And you guys signed some Louis Bank loan papers. And there's 2 other places where you guys need to stop. And I marked them with yellow stickers.
This was in anticipation of funds not coming in for the,
We probably won't.
probably won't use it, but you gotta pay our bills.
Yes, we should be getting more money from the USDA tomorrow.
Your team out to almost one.
Yeah, they got 6.
oh. Oh, while they're signing, you wanna give them a quick, download about what's going on with the box records.
I'm gonna start trying to do 1 or 2 boxes a day to go through them, the ones that say Rosemary's office. Majority of that probably can be thrown away. It was the stuff that was in my filing cabinets. Oh,
The vast majority of them are dry. There's a couple little bit wet, especially the one that hit, BJ hit the nail on the head of the, like the worst one. When he found it. And Rosemary's gonna wear an N95 mask and rubber gloves when she touches the ones that show signs of it. But most of the dry.
So it's gonna take them a couple days to do that.
Oh, yeah, most of them have.
the first
Yeah, well, I was
person-
looking through all of
Yeah,
the boxes, because now I didn't want to.
And I got a call, I had to pick my money, so that put it into that.
It's at least 80% town.
So is it, okay. I hate to say it, you know, I hate the idea of Rosemary or the staff going from home. I just, that's just my own personal thing. I'd rather somebody else do it besides our staff. It was supposed to. I don't know, I'm just saying that's a personal thing, probably can't be nothing done about it, but with our staff not being trained with spores and all that stuff, I just think I just don't like it, but.
So I had a conversation with Eben about the boxes. He's supposed to be talking to his board to see what their flavor of approach is. A lot of that stuff, just because you don't see the mold, it's probably there if it's tested. So a lot of that stuff could be easily sent away, have it digitally transferred. That'd be a better record keeping. That's probably the record keeping of the future. people that are trained to do this, ventilated areas, dispose of it, like Secure Shredder or somebody like that would dispose of it afterwards, so it's taken care of properly. But anyway, like I said, Eben and I have had conversations. He's going to talk to his board so we could actually revisit it if we want to hold off and not have Rosemary and them touch it at all for a little bit longer. It's up to you guys.
Yeah.
Rosemary, had they talked about that in the meeting yet? No, me and Eben just barely talked about it. So
No, we haven't, after meeting last Monday night, they did not.
So Rosemary, without opening the boxes, can you by count basically say it's this many boxes town, this many boxes village?
No, they're intermittent.
You have to open, them, okay. Because if we go to something like that, obviously, there's gonna be a bill.
Mhm.
You know, the bill needs to be proportionate on who pays what, not 50-50 at all. But it's not. So.
Depends who's with it.
If it's 60-40 or bad.
Perfect.
Hmm?
If it's stuff we don't even need to keep, why digitize it?
Did we,
You won't know unless you have to physically touch it.
was there actual claim to the insurance company for the records?
Yeah, they pay for that.
So is that's still an active thing if you're not done right? In a lot of ways.
So that was everything to do with offices was on the town's plate. So it's probably a drop of the ball there somewhere, somehow throughout the whole network that them boxes should have been dealt with the way I said it while it was being insured. So either they should have been sent out and cleaned and returned, or done what we said through a company that deals with this. Could have been Servpro, could have been a lot of them. The problem is that they're municipal records. So without, I think Rosemary, like what she's saying, her looking through, there's no way of knowing until we got all digital formats back and then go through it and divide it. Am I correct, Rosemary?
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, that's, like I said, I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know if it's something you guys want to think about more or what.
Well,
Yeah, I got it.
about it, just,
Yeah, I'd like to at least say, like, come back and just so we can figure out which way we're gonna go, at least if we're gonna have a price and kind of know what we're looking at.
I mean, if we look at it that way, Eric, when's our next meeting?
All I think,
I think it's also 12, something like that.
9th.
9th, February 9th.
All right, so that's, you're talking a month away still, them boxes sitting there. So do we want to,
Cover them, Austin.
well, no, I didn't know if when I hear from Eben with select board and say they decide that that's the best route also, do the board want to give Eric and I permission to have that done, or Rosemary permission to have that done when it's time, if they agree?
Well, I think it still boils down to Rosemary has to go through.
No, because they can digitize it and you can look at it
Oh, just throw it away.
digital. Yeah, they would look at it, they would digitize it and throw it.
That's good.
It's good enough for us.
Yeah, in some ways, you're trading money for safety because, you're digitizing whatever percentage that is gonna go in the garbage anyway.
Now, she said there was a couple boxes that she thinks could be thrown right away from her office.
More than a couple.
So if that's the case, you know what I mean? We just say, okay, if that's what you believe, Rosemary, then we get rid of them and then work with select board to do with the others. Like I said, I don't know. They may say no to it too. You know what I mean? They're spending money like crazy on other stuff. So I wouldn't see why they would do this.
Kenny, is there a state health officer, somebody we can reach out to, or a state department to go, N95, you're gonna be totally fine, or, don't have her touch this at all, or,
I mean,
give some guidance, because we're not putting her at risk. I mean,
I'm certain they're going to say test it. That's what they're going to say. But Eric can look into it. My only issue is now that
if we assume it's contaminated, or it has whatever, what is a safe procedure? She have to be in a, rebreathing suit, or, I mean, there's gonna be some sort of guidance to say, if it's got mold, spores, stuff like that, this is adequate.
it was downstairs for a good 6 months.
And it's just like a mold remediation.
Right, but it's mold, if you're not disturbing mold, it's not gonna get spread out. So that's the thing. So them coming back here could be a problem with them being in the building. So I suggest we either move forward or I don't know, because there's no standard will. When it comes to mold, I have to hire a mold abatement, just like asbestos abatement. I can't touch it.
Okay. Gotcha.
So,
Okay. Yeah, I would be in favor of Kenny and Eric, Rosemary taking the lead on this, and we'll just keep our employees safe. Second. We want to vote on it. It's just a consensus. I'm good with that. Yeah. Okay. That makes me feel better. Thank you. Beautiful. Well, I kill you just before you leave.
Okay. Discussion succession plan of village clerk and treasurer position.
Eric, did you reach?
Go ahead.
Did you reach out to, like we were discussing, trying to find an RFP or?
Actually, I put together a draft ad and put it in the packet.
We did, Mr. Managers.
That's next.
Okay.
Yeah, I put together a draft ad for you guys to peruse. Send it out on Friday's read file. And send the packet.
Okay, so we're hitting heavy on a treasurer. So for a treasurer to want to take this job, for us to throw the clerk duties on top of it, which is not a lot, but a lot of training for vote and stuff. Correct, Rosemary?
Yes.
I would suggest that, and I spoke to Eben, and he says he don't see a big hurdle with it, but we'd have to wait to see what they do. But we would just basically pay clerk duties through the town's clerk alone, because it's such a minuscule job for the village.
That's a pretty
You know, I mean, elections and very other few things, correct, Rosemary?
A few other things, yes.
So it would just be an option instead of throwing I guess I don't know. I'm not a clerk. Rosemary, how much is it for somebody that's never done it to have to jump into that?
The clerk court is it mostly the election part.
Correct. And there's a lot of rules and regulations and all that. You've done it for so many years, you don't think about it, but.
One thing I have a little bit of a concern is because there's a village checklist and a town checklist. And it's based off the street address, then it knows where it's the village resident or not. Who is gonna do that work? Is it gonna be a village clerk? Is it gonna be a town clerk?
Yeah.
Kind of co-mingled, yeah. That portion.
But they can be commingled, right? You've done it. Because I think if we bring a treasurer in that has no experience, we'd be a lot better off using the town clerk who has some idea of it to do ours. I think it'd just be a lot easier.
Again, this is assuming that they would want us, allow us to do that.
Correct.
There's no reason that a treasurer can't. Well, this is, I mean.
Right, but we can always just advertise for just a treasurer and then, cross-train them in.
Right, that's what I'm thinking, is that, looking for a treasurer, that's a primary goal with the knowledge that they're gonna be cross-trained in the clerk's duties, they can assist or do them or whatever at that point.
Because I don't think the clerk would even be an hour a week.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, so
That was my reasoning for asking Eben about it, as I knew it was a minuscule part of the job, and it would just not throw any disconcern into somebody considering a treasuring position.
Yeah, when I was looking at it, I was actually thinking the exact same thing, because it wouldn't even make sense financially to add two people with health and all that stuff either.
where you could get the power to make it.
Not even close.
No, so. Okay, so what, so this, Will Johnson receiving applications, this page you're talking about here.
Right, and it's not completely perfect. I actually didn't save it after I changed. We're just in the resumes, the references to it.
Who's that person?
Yeah, that's in the most recent version, which is not this one, it has my name, but. So let me ask you the wrong one.
Let me ask you, Eric. The treasurer, if we're gonna just basically have a solid treasurer, it's basically money. Should we have somebody with a closer of a CPA, somebody that has that deep knowledge of that sort of stuff? Just because somebody that has to come in, if we're going from one treasurer to a new treasurer, whether we have somebody come in and redo it, look over everything and make sure everything's on par before the next one comes in, or have somebody with that knowledge already built in.
Right, well, CPA would be great, at least someone with deep public bookkeeping experience.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be more important than certification as it has. It's a little different.
I'm talking about just, instead of just somebody coming off the street with a little bit of the knowledge.
Oh, yeah, no, I think it is significant
knowledge.
Yeah, significant knowledge.
Yeah.
Significant knowledge. Yeah, because I mean, let's say for instance, this person, well, we'll just say this person that just retired from BIPSA, that she won't be able to do it, but saying she would. She's been in BIPSA's finance side and accounting side and would be able to do this, quite easily, but.
See, and
I'm saying, but she doesn't yet.
yeah, and I'm good with somebody like that, or even a CPA that's pretty much new. I would prefer not that. I want somebody with like a wealth of knowledge, because we do have a lot of complicated shit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not just taxes.
It's a lot.
Before we go on,
Correct, but I
What
don't
is
think we
the-
need,
what
I
is the
wouldn't think-
clerk positions versus the treasurer? I know the treasurer does money,
The
the
clerk
clerk does.
yeah, good, well, town clerks do a lot of things, land records, animals.
Yeah.
Marriages, I mean, all kinds of stuff.
What they do.
Record can get,
What's village man?
village clerks do mostly elections and a few other very small things,
Pretty much run our business.
so.
Record
what else
those
is
meeting minutes. and stuff like that.
Yeah, so, it is a part-time sideline.
Not as our other employees want to have the hours enough to take that.
Our,
that
employees don't
couple
have
hours.
to do their job,
Uh,
we're already,
yeah,
we're tight. And, people are missing lunches sometimes because they just have to get things done. So.
Why is that?
I was gonna say that's more of a concern, you know.
Schedule.
Because last time I asked, you guys said everything was all set.
Well, usually,
I was,
but
just recently, and then
just beginning of holidays, people, so.
Okay,
People
so-
on vacation,
gotcha, okay.
sick,
So it's not the workload itself, it's just we're running into the end of the year with a whole bunch of crap.
complications just getting away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're on the right track. I like the idea of what Kenny is proposing. If that works with them, I think that's the smart thing to do. And then our treasurer, once we have them with them understanding, hey, you will over time be learning this clerk stuff, and then maybe we can just change that out in a couple of years once they have that knowledge.
Become the church.
Yeah.
So I can rewrite this to be pure treasurer and send it back around just as an email for just a consensus. But it's not a,
So I guess the biggest question is for regards to that village, would be good for you, or that describes you. Like, that's the question.
And my question to you would be,
Some of these.
the first paragraph's a lot of.
The person doesn't necessarily have to do these work, but
Right.
they are responsible to make sure they are getting done.
Right.
and Eric, you would be able to sign the treasurer's check, because she can't sign her own, he or she cannot sign her own. You're able to, right?
I should be able to, I'm just more officer. Right,
You do it on our bank account.
okay, well.
So what do we have?
I guess, I don't know. Or we could,
Well, if we have the town clerk doing it, our clerk, that could be one of those little things of signing that paycheck each week, when they're signing the other paychecks. Okay.
right, just the other thing to consider is that, if we're gonna have a full-time treasurer for ourselves, we aren't gonna need an assistant treasurer.
Correct.
right, we just need someone to sign the treasurer's paycheck, that's all.
Correct, and then like Rosemary just said, then we either get it so the chair of the village does it, the manager does it. I don't know, because I figured with the new treasurer, we'd be losing the assistant, which does some other stuff for us, that we may have to look at another person.
Well, the village clerk can do the signature for our treasurer.
You always should have two people in the bank account in case somebody just.
Yeah. You have to be happy.
Suddenly checks that.
How many
Correct,
hours-
but we might have to figure out the clerk part sooner than later.
Not the chief,
I think this could easily be a 30-hour.
30 hours.
Does,
Now, you're the assistant, does your assistant clerk, treasurer, how many hours a week do you think that they,
Do both of them,
yeah,
probably 20.
What do we pay right now? We do 40 for one and 40 for the other? For Lydia and Susan,
Between town and village.
It's 40 and 60.
40 and 60, so between those two, we do 100. And then yours is, what is,
We're all 40 and 60.
you're all 46,
Yeah, 40%,
Okay.
60%.
for about 120%. So we're losing 2 and we're gonna be getting 1, roughly.
and you think that the clerk position, in that 30, you're doing clerk work
Well, I still
and
think
treasurer,
you'll need another assistant treasurer.
Or just an overall assistant.
Yeah. Because
That help with Marla, to help the clerk, help the
the
treasurer.
person who signs the checks can't do the bank reconciliations.
Mhm.
So we're talking 2 people.
you do all the payroll for all the help for the village.
For the village, a good thing. It's a good one for the town.
So that's
So- one full-time, one part-time, or?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and the lower level one, we don't have to, get on right this minute. As far as, we really would like to have an overlap with this person.
Oh, yeah.
Well, somebody's got work on program.
Cause we can't, cause we really can't afford to go any more than what we're doing now. So however we figure it out, we have to be under what we're doing now.
I'm not certain.
I would also throw in, we had a $79,000 position we got rid of.
The what? What can
When Ann was done, that was a huge undertaking there. So
Yeah.
if we can pull in a part-time person in a reasonable rate to make up and possibly even become our clerk, you know what I mean? That would be.
And I like that part-time person, as long as we can get them under the part of having to pay like health insurance and all that stuff, because I think 2 new people doing their pay and the health and all that is what's gonna kill us. If we can get that second person in with, say, 20 hours a week or something under that health, I think that will be.
Correct, but we're doing that now with Rosemary, Susan, and Lydia.
But we're paying half of all their health.
I understand. So if you're taking away you're taking away 1.5 persons.
Correct.
We're trying to replace it with 1.5 person, right?
Yeah, but there's
Looked
no-
at Rosemary and Susan as one person as what we're looking at now.
I understand the pay wise, but I'm talking about insurance and stuff. There's no 1.5 insurance for people.
Yeah, well, you get somebody to work for municipality and you don't think you're paying them insurance. You ain't getting
Well, that's
somebody
what
to
I'm
work
saying.
for
If we're doing
municipality.
the hours, that's expected.
You're not gonna get anybody on BJ, that's all. People don't want to work to begin with these days. I see you advertising.
Let's get this out, because this is gonna be done sooner than later. We need to start looking.
Yeah, this we need.
So I'll revamp this and send it back around and just get general thumbs up, so we guys.
When do you have a conflict?
Religion.
Joe,
Does, VLCT still do
but we
training?
need to have a higher question
In
Yeah.
Some of those stuff.
to work on them all.
the American Public Power and NEPA also have like
Right.
building enforcement,
They can't give short.
utilities.
Yeah.
So
No,
Parents are gonna be so freaking important.
So where are you putting this out at?
so hang on one second. So let me get this correct though, Rosemary. You're done for us in April, correct?
I was thinking June 30th. That's all
So-
right.
Okay, so you were gonna stay with the town I knew that
Yeah.
because their year ends in July. So you're staying to then. So we could consider you as part-time to help train our new person if we have somebody in line then.
Sure, yeah.
You see what I'm saying, guys? So
Try.
we'd have to try.
New camper. Any,
Alright, so I guess we're done with this, right? He's gonna revise it, send it out, get it approved, get moving on that. Do you guys have an idea what we're paying, the pay is gonna be? For the
My suggestion was to put the starting range in the 70s, and any experience.
I'd like to apply.
So I'd suggest Eric look around a couple spots, try to find some other advertisements for somebody similar to this,
That's what I did in order.
and look at the pay scales, because I did that and I didn't quite come up with them numbers. So I was just wondering where you're looking, that's all. So when I come down to meet you the next day or two, I'll come down. We'll go over some of that anyway. But
Yeah, because before we put it out, if we have that first one even lower, that way it gives us a bigger range to pick from depending on who the person is. So I'd rather see a bigger range there.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I know what we're paying Rosemary, but she's been here for a long ass time.
Right, she's mid-90s, I was going 20,000 less than that.
That's
Yes,
for both,
yeah.
that's for both.
Yeah, it's
That's
just
for
that
both.
he wasn't getting it.
It is.
Yeah.
But the village treasurer job, of all 4 of those jobs, is the most difficult. Rosemary shaking her head up and down, yes. So to get someone with the skills to do the enterprise treasurer job, basically,
one might get 40, yeah,
you're not gonna get them for cheap.
I don't know why we need 2.
We go, let's get this underway, so we can get the plan. You ready for that?
Plant the seed.
We go 1.5 doing it now, we
Yeah, so
But they're smoothly an upgrade, that's gonna be a lot for.
is there a motion, is there a motion to have Eric? No. Oh, no motion.
No need emotional.
There we go. I agree. Let's move forward. Can you look at it with them, get it out to us, and yeah, let's get it out as soon as humanly possible.
Yeah, so when he finished hammers out the one that I think he should send out, I'll have him send it to everybody for consensus.
Thank you.
Yep.
And, do you have what you're looking to hire by date? As soon as possible, or, I just don't wanna find somebody and be like, yeah, well, it's looking like, May.
But I'm sure it's gonna be out for 30+ days before we even start looking at
We'll put
applications.
Yeah, we'll be looking for applications till X date.
Do we have a budget on that? Because we're gonna have 2, Rosemary and the person.
Yeah, and you never know either.
You
Derek.
pay the next 2 months.
When we were looking for Eric,
So what are we thinking our, try to hire date is? What we do? Rough
She's gonna be
guesstimate.
here, so Rosemary's gonna be here full-time until the end of June.
yeah, but like I said, this would be the time, I would say shortly after the new board comes in will be the
Well, I'd say
time.
May 1st looks like the way to be for me.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was assuming.
Yeah.
But like I said, we got to look at it this way. When we were looking for Eric, we had 37 grocery clerks, 2 gas station attendants, and 1 convenience store operator apply
Yeah, I'm not.
before we got anybody that we'd even look at.
And the guy that didn't know how to do Zoom that called us and asked us how.
Yeah,
I don't, if I put it on Indeed, I will, find a way to put fences on it. So you have to have certain qualifications for the application to make it through.
I would also throw it out on that municipal network here.
Oh, yeah, Muni Network, the Clerks Association, DLCT. I'll look at a couple of job boards too.
I mean, I think we need to start with anywhere we don't have to pay to put it on.
Yeah, that's what it is. DLCT, MuniNet, Clerks Association, those are all the free ones.
See what happens.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. The next village manager report. please.
Yeah, Waterlight Garage project, new Waterlight Garage progressing quickly inside and out, looks like a garage, that's a building. there's a delay in overhead door delivery date that Millbrook says this is not a critical path for substantial completion. The fire protection contractor is running late, and that may or may not create an issue with the completion. Substantial completion date, depending on when they can get here. FEMA wastewater update. The CRC still has not come back before 28 hours. We meet tomorrow morning, and I'm gonna make it, I'll just say, extremely clear that we need this info immediately. That could be the end of my patience. Water treatment facility generator update. Bond Bank emailed me Friday afternoon with good news. Our SCRP Tier 2 grant was approved. Not only was it approved, but to make administration more streamlined, they just combined it with the original grant for a total sum of $104,857, which covers the entire cost to install a new generator and propane tanks. Of course, these things are a paperwork process, and they don't expect the funds to be released and us to be able to dig until sometime in February. Grid grant for the excavator and extra tree clearing work. It's still being worked on. Never seen a grant with so much post-award paperwork. I and most of the other VIPC utilities are working with John Abbott at VIPC to finish those up and get them executed.
So Eric, stop here real quick. You had Dan and them get a hold of the generator guy and
I got a hold of him. I forwarded him the email
and course.
I haven't gotten a hold of course yet, but I did tell Dan and Tim. But I already told Brookfield.
That's an underground tank.
It's 2 underground 1,000 gallon tanks.
So of course it's installing those. Those are our tanks, so.
We're to buy them, yeah. It's part of the purchase of the grant price, yeah. Yep, and I'll be off on Friday, and the village will be off on Monday, observing Martin Luther King Day. Ooh. Chief Operator's Report. Wastewater plant, EDMR's WR-43 submitted to the state, hauled 72,000 gallons of sludge support for processing November. Monthly composite test completed, the Menage scheduled grit channel cleaning. Tim and Luke assisted village water line crews replacing overflow float at the Main Street siphon. The float was tested and is now working as it should. When changed the float, the siphon, we found it plugged and overflowing. But overflowing means it was in the overflow pipe, not like outside.
Yeah.
Menage came jetted twice again over the course of the remainder of the month. Checked and found it partially plugged. Last time we jetted, there was a decent sized root ball that came through. Perhaps a conversation of customers are having their services jetted should first contact the village office and let them know to avoid heavy root balls, grease, and rags put in the system. Just a suggestion. County auditor came back to check the glycol in the heating system at the water plant. So at the suggestion made, we contacted B&D Plumbing and Heating. They responded that day, tested the glycol level, added more to the system, and fixed thermostat that was not working for the modine in the chemical room. Water plant. Monthly reports were submitted to the state. Call form samples were negative. Added a gallon coolant to the water plant generator. Contacted Course Fuels about propane installation for the new generator. Relayed the info there. With the cold weather, we've been checking meter houses at Katie Wynn on a weekly basis. Driving through on days when the temperature's below zero. And checking for outside red lights. Replace one back up here in meter house 1. Brookfield generator contacted Tim about the generator project, the water plant. He indicated to them that the process is in motion. We're waiting to hear on the grant. When we know, you'll know. Water loss was 7%. Water light report. Lecter. Outage 21 River Road West, below refused, 4 customers. Did the demand meter inventory for ordering new meters. Guy wires hit by a truck across the woolen mill, no damage to pole. DCUs for AMI roundabout. Cut trail for lines at 854 and Gould Hill, no outages. Did line patrol after wind and ice storm. Did a bi-weekly meeting for the shop. That's for the construction meeting. Complete monthly meter readings, high-low checks, substation checks, and data safes. Water and sewer. Monash clean the sewer mains in the village. Pull meter and shut off water at 289 Wescom Road for buyout. Shut off water and pull meter at 37 Clay Hill for winter. Replace the float siphon chamber. Monash jet 6-inch side and unplugged it 3 times, do a root ball and a lot of flushing and wipes, which by the way are not flushable. Road and water, 679 Route 100C, not in village. Not village is probably also a service issue. Frozen water at 198 Katy Wind Road, replace backflow preventer. Frozen water at 312 West Highland, not village service line. Assisted the fire flow test on Pearl Street for the studio center. General, picked up snow 3 times, plowed and sanded as needed. Safety, the training has been, this calendar has been set for the year in conjunction with Morrisville, Stowe, Hardwick, Hill, and Hyde Park.
So just, see down here, but the, in front of the old, it's still our haircut on corner River Street, Main Street, or handicap spot there. And I got a call, Kenny knows about it, about that, maybe that plot out for that storm, and I think it was just an oversight.
Yes, they've been saying after it since.
Okay.
Yeah. It was one of the, Matt's learning the sidewalk.
Well, and I plow, so I know what it's like to
Yeah,
get over here, so.
Yeah, that's our only ADA parking spot, so we gotta make sure we stay on that one.
there's one on each side of the road. He's found out about both of them. It's been diligent since.
Good.
Also, I had a question about the telephone pole that was hit that we repaired. Did we send a bill to Comcast? We had that discussion last time about the poles, that shared pole.
Is that St. John's?
That's, I think the first thing is that it goes to the, insurance of the vehicle operator. Not.
Your last conversation was you were having trouble getting that information.
Right,
So
we're
if-
still after it.
Okay, so if we don't get that information, we should move forward with shared cost invoice to Comcast for that pole.
The one by St. John's?
I think so.
Okay.
And did we notify the art studio of the rags causing the plug? They should be notified in person and in writing, so that they should put up signs to tell them to stop doing that. Like I said, it was 3 different Jettons. They have to take some responsibility and help out there, or they're gonna have backups.
Okay.
I mean, don't that make sense, guys? I mean, if we don't tell them, they're not gonna stop.
Yeah.
And then we had discussion about it going in the newsletter, Eric.
Yep, we put a, we did a full 1-page, don't flush notice in the last billing cycle. With all the different things you're not supposed to flush.
Good.
Yep. Yep.
Good. Updates on minutes, go back on the website. Actually, I was gonna bring that up, when I looked today, they were actually done.
Yeah, I did, I just,
I thought
the same, you guys discovered that they were just listed, but the links didn't really work, so I put them back up. The ones I had, I didn't have every single one, like often if there's been like a really short special meeting, the manager's just done those minutes themselves, and so I don't have those. And there's a few others that for whatever reason.
The one that you weren't able to put up, were you able to, did you just delete it, or it doesn't look like they're there at least?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've got all new links, and somebody should probably go through and on the agendas page, like, I don't have agendas, so I couldn't put those up. But you could just convert that to a list of meeting dates at least, and then people could see what dates there were minutes for, and they could see that there were some meetings that we don't have minutes for.
And we have the old agendas, right, somewhere?
Seems like if you had the old agendas, you would also have the old minutes. So,
But it should be pretty, as long as we have, it should be pretty easy to convert in.
Yeah, I don't know if there's a real attention issue for agendas, but there is for minutes.
Well, I'm just thinking, the only reason I would even think of agenda is because if somebody, cause I know like, I'm like, hey, I know we talked about this. But I have to go through the whole agenda or the whole minutes to find it, where if I look through agenda, like just flick through and read down the whole. I mean, it doesn't really.
It doesn't
make a
have
difference.
fancy search.
It just makes it a little easier with searching. Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I should have looked you through. So that's pretty much what you were gonna say, right?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Yeah, thank you for doing that. Yeah, I knew it that today. Review and possibly adoption of revised official vehicle policy. Again, where,
So I went over it with Eric a little bit just to get so basically it's adding the proper verbiage for the vehicle to be here on vacations. He also made it a lot easier for employees to be able to use the vehicle. So I don't know.
I looked at both over, there was 3 things I found on one that I just wanted to bring up. The employee one I thought was perfect. I mean, it looked real good. The village manager one, one of the things is where the employee ones, it says no one can be in the car unless they're an employee. On a village manager, it doesn't say that.
It says that no one other than employee can drive it. There's all kinds of, reasons that you have a non-employee when you're bringing, state employees, contractors.
Okay, so let's put something in there business related.
Yeah.
I'm fine with. I think it'd be good because if somebody puts something in that isn't, then somebody could come back and say, you never said it. We can, I think a few words to protect ourselves when we're.
No,
I think that's a little too petty.
You know, and we thought that in other times and it's bit us me.
Nah.
But, well, there's a board of fire, we can choose not to.
I mean, I don't really see an issue with it. It's a business vehicle. It's not like Eric's going to take it to go out to dinner with his girlfriend. Right? So.
Okay.
But I guess that would also eliminate the fact of somebody picking up a hitchhiker or. So I guess it's. I don't really care either way.
I mean, no personal use of vehicle. I mean, that pretty much covers non-business.
Well, that says it in a employee one, but it doesn't say it in the village.
Actually, it does.
It's prohibited uses. It's not just, it's prohibited uses are.
It says personal use of vehicle, including errands for commuting outside of exceptions outlined above.
Yeah,
Okay, and
so that covers that.
so where was it? Cause I was reading the one that was at 25 and it was like, hunting and, athletics and all that stuff.
Which was all part of what we negotiated when this
All right.
part of my contract.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. This is kind of a revamp, right? Or no? Because to me, athletics is
Are we
not,
reopening my contract?
no, this isn't in your contract. This is a standalone policy.
So what else you got? So there's 3 things.
Oh, and the next one is the 25 mile thing. I just want to specify that it's 25 miles round trip, not 25 miles
That's correct.
one way. It doesn't specify that. It's 25 miles one way, that's 50 miles round trip, that's a long ways. But the main thing, like I said, besides that one, the main thing is some of these things, if we're talking about we're not doing personal stuff, some of these things listed as a hunting and all that, that's personal stuff.
That's not under personal use. So that's all,
That's not personal use.
and I'd say that's covered under personal use.
No, but it says that he can do it. When I read it here, I did read this, but when I read it here, it said you could.
It does because section 5 of the contract flat says that the village will provide the manager a vehicle for official and personal use, and then that personal use is outlined in the policy.
Yeah.
And during the negotiations, the negotiating team, which was you and Ken, both said, I'd love to see a deer strapped to that car.
Yeah. So I think the impliement of that statement in that is that on his way home, if he decides to stop and go hunting, not go home, change clothes and get back in the car and go back hunting. So I guess if we need to add the on the way home,
Well, it's part of, it's in there.
See, and on
It's on the way home.
and my thing is you're going home, you stop at a store, grab some hunting supplies, you stop here, you're doing this. But when you go to athletics and all this stuff, that doesn't seem like it's on my way home, or I'm going to a ball game and stuff. That's personal
The
stuff.
gym is almost on the way home. There's hunting spots right near here.
Correct.
Those,
So,
It's just contradicting the employee policy. It's like telling the employees they can't do one thing, but the manager can do all this, all the personal stuff. It's personal stuff.
that's under his contract.
But his contract is is one thing. This is a standalone policy.
But we can't
actually, the contract references the policy.
redo his contract.
Right, no, but his contract references the policy, so whatever the policy is set.
What I'm saying is you wanna add the verbiage that's in his personal contract to this.
No, his personal part says to reference this, so no matter what this is his contract.
So
It
basic
changes.
to be blunt, what he wants to do
Take away what you're.
is take away what was given in my contract. By after action.
But it's not in your, but is it, so it's in your contract. If it's in your contract, I'll back
The
off.
whole
It's in
thing
your
is
contract.
contract.
No, it doesn't say to refer to the policy.
It says that, it talks about, the $2,000, and this part will be replaced by the policy.
Okay. So the policy, so in your contract, does it say you can go hunting with the car, you can go to sports with the car and all that? Does it say that in policy? If it does, you're right. I'm 100%, I'll back
But
off.
we developed the contract together in the negotiating.
So this,
We developed a policy quite often.
so it's not in his
We
contract.
developed a policy with, the contract involved,
Right.
and now it's like.
But as you know,
Backdoor change.
That's what's happening.
okay, that's fine, because it's the same thing when we do it with the guys with their union. They're doing it all, our policies do change, our policies evolve with the times, our policies do different things. The wording, I just don't like the wording. If he's saying, I don't mean it that way, then let's just do the wording where it makes sense. And that way he gets it and we're kind of covered, because this is open to him on his way home doing whatever he wants, wherever he wants, as long as it's within 25 miles. And there's nothing that can be said about it.
So let's just make stated in that policy that refers to him on his way home, that covers your concerns.
Yeah.
Right, BJ, does that cover your concerns? That if he stops on his way home, he's not going home changing and driving 25 miles back to go hunting.
Yes,
He's not going home and getting his gym shorts and driving 25 miles back to the gym. He's bringing his gym shorts with him and traveling to the gym, then going home.
he's going to the place, not the intentions of being there forever or whatever, or, going out for an event or whatever. He's going to a place because he has to go to the store, he has to go and do this, he has to go and do that, and then he's going home. It's not just, okay, I'm gonna just bounce around here and here all the way home.
But,
But this doesn't say that. This doesn't, I mean, this is open to where you can do whatever you want.
the hunting's pretty self-upsetting. It's basically it's talking about bonuses. You get off work, you get a couple hours to hit an evening stand, and you head home.
So then to and from work should be added to that policy.
It actually says that. I'll read it to you.
I was looking at it.
I'll say, no vehicle will be used for official duties and normal to and from work commuting to include normal and customary stops that don't exceed 25 miles off route, such as that list. It doesn't say that I can go home and then go back out.
Right, so this verbiage here, because you have a understanding of what the original was, does this cover your needs to be able to honor the original?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This one here does.
Okay.
The second page one is basically takes all of them. It takes the whole thing right out of my contract.
The only thing that I'd like to see added, and I'll sign the damn thing and be done with it, is in prohibited use, there's smoking and vaping. It should say, and no use of alcohol or alcoholic vehicle.
Okay.
Well, that would be, isn't it,
No, there's nothing.
use of vehicle in violation of traffic or safety laws?
Well, I don't.
But, yeah, I mean, you can't have an open container in Vermont Well, cars in motion, if I understand
Right.
that correct.
You cannot.
So that would be violation of traffic law.
Traffic law.
Right.
That's,
Okay, and so it is 12 miles one way, it's 25 miles round trip.
Correct.
So I guess the question
I like
is,
that.
BJ has his thing, 1.5. I'm okay the way this is written. Does anybody else have a,
I just want to make sure everybody read it completely.
yeah. Kenny, your position on the contract as written,
Was that he had the vehicle to use
I mean, are you okay with it or not?
the policy?
My
Yeah.
version, yep.
Yeah, I worked with him on it.
Okay.
This one.
No. You did okay with that.
The January 12th, 2026
Yes.
draft, that one there.
That one there.
I make a motion to accept the policy as written.
Second,
Discussion? Jeff, I just want to clarify. Where it said you can't exceed 25 miles off road,
That is total.
that is total. Yeah, off road. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Nay. Aye.
Okay.
aye,
Have a roll call.
That was everyone vote.
BJ was a day, all of us are ayes. So, you could, there's a non-draft to sign. Pass it around, I asked back.
Eric, so
You got the employee one too?
That, yeah, it covers, it has employee section on it, so Russ, and not give sale, it's much.
Okay, the next one is Jesse, where are we at with that? Did we find him a place?
He has to go back and be tested, and then we give a place. Because during the whole thing of the local roads program in this class that they thought was gonna be, if they weren't, they can get this, whatever. The legal driver's training that they have to take now. Turns out they were incorrect. It's not ranking. Meantime, his permit, expired, so he's gonna retest. So to retest, we'll get him signed up at professional driver's training.
Okay, so you've already talked to somebody, they go through the pre-trip. Do they take him down with one of their trucks, or is it they do the training, and then we take one of our trucks? Because it should have this, we should do a class A.
He's
It's
going
not
he's going class A.
Okay, we don't have a class A truck, correct?
We do if we put a trailer on
That won't still be a class B.
it. You put a logo behind it, it's,
Okay, I thought it was class B. Even with the.
excavator trailer behind the dump truck is class A.
Okay.
Because of the gross weight plan, right?
so we go through this a lot down at work, and we train our own. We train our own truck people that sign up, they go get the permit. They
So, yeah.
go in and they ride with, once they're under the permit, they ride under the person that has the license. And they do that for quite a while. Until he feels comfortable, he or she, they sign up to go for their test, and they test.
Right, which is what we used to be able to do that, all employers with a truck and some drivers used to be able to do that. Now only larger employers that have staffs and means to get certified people for this, I forget what it's called, there's an acronym, of course, it's still relevant. There's specific drivers training that has to be administered. And do it. I'm sure your company's plenty big to do it. V-Trans does it. I got a hold of V-Trans. I also talked to Premier Motor Coach, because they do it also. Both of them are like, nah, we do it for our employees, but we don't do it for the others.
So I would
We're
suggest,
like it. The schooling is what, 6,000-8,000?
I think I can get in for about half that, because he doesn't need the big course.
All he needs is a pre-trip, right?
Well, he needs,
Well, you can.
no, he needs more than that because you gotta check the box, but there are
Okay.
2 tracks. I don't know if it's a truck looks like track, you know, and then someone who knows what they're doing.
And will that, we could use their vehicles to test with,
Right.
they have the schooling, we have a vehicle with that is set up for.
Yeah.
Cause you're doing a pre-trip on that.
You're gonna take that truck, you're gonna take that.
So we're looking more between 3 and 4.
Good.
How much
Nope.
money, I mean, that have we wasted
Doing the other one.
doing it this way?
None,
None.
none, there's not a dollar. It's free.
we wasted a year of time is what we wasted.
Right.
So
It's
Eric-
already done.
Eric, have you contacted DOT yourself? Not V-Trans, not coach carriers, nobody else. Have you contacted DOT, the people that are gonna issue the license? You should be doing that to verify that your foreman has done it properly, because it's been a year. So we want to make sure that this follows through, so we don't have to sound like jerks and keep asking about it.
Yep, okay.
Does that make sense to the board? That's where he's gotta go, correct? DOT.
I'll gotta get done, but
They're the only ones that's gonna give you the exact answer, because you're municipality, so it's gonna be run a little bit different on everything. So
Does he have his permit set up for going to get that soon, or is that, have you been set up yet?
I don't know yet.
Okay. Let's get him in as soon as possible, get that set up, please.
yeah, I'd say talk to DOT, get yourself an update, email the board, explain to them what you've learned and how you're gonna proceed. And that would be the best route to make sure that we move this forward.
Okay.
Give him the tools, I'm sure he'll take care of it.
Yeah. I had one other question. Our 2026 flag policy, has that been implemented?
No, I need to get flags.
Let's make sure we've got a policy set, American flag, Vermont
The
flag,
policy is
POW,
set.
MIA only.
The policy is set, but the tricentennial flags have yet to be purchased.
Okay, so let's make sure we had time to do it, so let's make sure that Nate is also aware of the new policy.
Well, he does, he knows all about it. Yep.
And, happy birthday, America.
one last thing, going back to the license. How many hours is it gonna take him? Of schooling? Because it's not just $6,000 of the thing, if we have to pay for 40 hours of him in class.
But I think if he's doing ours, with ours, I think that will count, if you're, they have the CDR, right?
I don't know if he's signing up to take the full class, that could, if it's 1 week, 2 week class, I have no idea.
My opinion is he should be signing up for whatever minimal requirements he needs to drive that truck.
Right. Yep. And the closest, I say the closest one's Milton, so you're talking about 2 hours, just windshield time, right? Yeah. Yep.
Okay, basically, we are done, and motion to adjourn.
Like that.
All in favor?
All right.
If you wanna stop the, loose, John said, and.
I know.
Why don't you see the rest of it?